G'day there, podcaster. Ben here, giving you a heads up what's coming up in this episode of the pod. Bit of a trauma dump. There was a lot of callers sharing with us, so look out for that. Also, Liam calls a random American, and that is a wild ride, so enjoy.
Live across Australia, this is Ben, Liam and Belle's
Late Drive on Nova. Love Rat, Belle's a Love Rat.
Normally for Love Rat, we want you to DM us your stories, but this week we need to talk about a call that we received from Lily last night, and she told us a lie that her cheating partner told her.
My boyfriend said, I've decided to start doing DoorDash to make some extra money. Turns out he was seeing someone else.
He used DoorDash as an excuse.
Come on, man. He didn't have to put the little pink vest on every time he was going to his side chick's house. I mean, that's just ridiculous. He was being a door dog.
What a dog. So we want to know, 13 24 10, what lie did the cheater tell you? We haven't stopped talking about this story. The guy that said he got a job with DoorDash. Amazing.
And that's bad. Like, obviously, you have the blow of, oh my God, I'm being cheated on. That's
Yeah.
like the worst thing you could do to someone. And then, then there's that whole side thing of like, what? Like, you didn't even have that job, or you weren't going to see that person every time?
Amy in Sydney, good evening. What lie did the cheater tell you?
Hello. So my ex told me that he had his Christmas party coming up, and he told me that partners weren't welcome. But I later found out it's because he wanted to hook up with one of his colleagues that night.
Oh. So everyone else is there with their loving partner going, hey, where's Amy?
And I just want to say, to confirm, the Nova one is no partners. Just in case. No, it is. Because I know my wife would be listening. And she's always like, your Christmas party's like so much more fun than mine. I want to come. I'm like, yeah, sorry, no partners. But like,
I don't think I've ever heard that rule, no partners.
no, it's a thing.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Dude, don't do that to me.
I don't think I've ever heard that
You're
rule.
going to cause a kerfuffle.
Hang on, are you cheating on
No,
Sarah?
I'm saying there's no partners. No one brings their partners.
Yeah, it's bring your partners.
I don't think management
Oh,
cares
yeah.
if you brought your partner.
Should have seen this coming.
Amy in Sydney, thank you so much for sharing. Sorry to hear that. 13 24 10. What lie did the cheater tell you? We have got prizes to give away if you get involved.
Anonymous in Melbourne. Good evening. What lie did they tell you?
Told me that he had the snip done, and I have a 2-year-old daughter.
Oh, man. He lied about having a vasectomy?
Yes, he did.
Wait, so were you the other woman?
No, I was his partner.
Yeah, right. And then did he end up cheating on you?
Yes, he did.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can see the confusion there. Of
Yeah.
like, well, who was the one? Yeah, so, yeah, he lied, and then he also cheated just on top of that as a
Gotcha.
little side dish. Wonderful. Well, say hi to the kid for us. Chloe in Sydney, tell us, what did the lie... What lie did the cheater tell you?
The cheater told me that they had to go back to the office. This is during COVID time, that they had to go back to the office part-time and work from home the other. But it turns out they were just going to cheat, and I was working full-time at home with a 2-year-old as well.
Oh, you're kidding me. So they were like, Thursdays and Fridays I go into the office.
Yeah, pretty much. They were like, we have to come back part-time, and then we, some days we can work from home. And I realized when he took my MacBook, and I noticed in Find My, I was like, wait, that's not at the work location. And when I asked, that's when it all came out.
You're kidding. And so was this person like dressing up for like work as well, like putting the proper business clothes on and...
Absolutely. Like fully getting ready for work, and would come back with stories like, today at work this happened.
Water cooler chat. Oh, yeah. And I told you about Gary, right? HR. And his kids with the thing. Oh, man.
Chloe, good one. Thank you very much. Anon in Brizzy, what lie did the cheater tell you?
So I had been dating this guy for about 3 years, and he went away on a work trip, and all of a sudden, I couldn't call him, anything. His phone was off. And then he came back, and I was like, you got a new phone? How was your trip, whatever? He's like, yeah, I left my phone in the car in the taxi. So I was like, okay. Didn't think so much of it. 2 weeks later, I found out that he actually got engaged.
Oh!
Hang on, that escalated.
That just took a leap. So he went, how long was the trip for?
A week.
Okay, so a week. So you didn't hear from him for a whole week, but you were okay with that. But then it turns out, had he been seeing this person for ages?
I still do not know till this day.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
That's wild.
That is wild, Anon. Thank you very much for sharing. 13 24 10. You can keep these calls coming through. What lie did the cheater tell you? Tanae, you're on Nova. What lie did the cheater tell you?
Hi guys. So my ex would always constantly tell me that we couldn't hang out because she was going to her parents' house. One night, I decided to go to the beach with one of my girlfriends because that's kind of the thing that you did back then. And I seen her there with somebody else sharing ice cream, holding hands in cahoots. So I walked straight up to them and I pretty much said, "What are you doing? Like, we've been together for over a year." She pretty much told me that I've been meaning to tell you, but we have been seeing each other for 6 months.
6 months. Oh.
It would have been super dramatic if you slapped the ice cream out of their
Yes.
hand.
Yeah, that's how I saw it as
Look,
well.
I'm
Yeah.
a very aggressive person too, so it's lucky it didn't come to that. But to make it worse, they were in the army together, so that's how they kind of communicated when they were going to get together and hook up. Because
Yeah.
obviously I would have seen her phone, so it was like a, "Hey, let's go out tonight," so today doesn't see your phone.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's funny how you said that made it worse. They were in the army together.
I also like that you said they were in cahoots on the beach.
Yeah. Liz in Melbourne. What lie did the cheater tell you?
He told me that on the weekends he needed to drive his daughter up to Melbourne so that she could spend some time with her cousins, which I didn't know was a lie until we'd been married for 2 years, and then a whole lot of subsequent lies unfolded. At that time, he was also telling another person who was in Melbourne that he was, during the week, he was driving a truck interstate to earn enough money to buy her an engagement ring.
Whoa.
So he was just two-timing. And, you know, he's just driving, just having Chico rolls along the way, just eating wingdings and just gallivanting his way around Victoria.
Liz, we appreciate you sharing. Anon from Adelaide, what lie did the cheater tell you?
Actually, I dropped him off at the airport to go for a holiday and also to sell some land overseas. And he went and got married.
What?
Yep. I found out from his brother's Facebook, and I saw the photos, the videos, everything. And when he came back, he tried to speak to me again, act like nothing happened.
Don't worry about that marriage overseas
What's
thing.
that? What's that ring on your finger? This? Oh, this is just the souvenir. Mood ring. Mood ring. Gold at the moment because I'm so happy to see you. But, you know, it can go blue and different colours and that sort of thing.
Emily in the Gold Coast, what lie did the cheater tell you?
Hi, guys. So I was with this guy for about 3 years. We broke up, and I just had a bad feeling, so I went and got a little STI test. Came back positive, and I called him and I was like, "Look, I think you've given me chlamydia. You need to go and get tested." And he told me that his test was negative and that I must have slept with someone else or it's a false positive.
Whoa.
That's no good.
And so then did it come out that he had been cheating on you?
Yeah, it was pretty clear. I heard it from a few friends, like, years later, and, yeah, it was clear that he was cheating.
Yeah, no good, Emily. Well, look, here's a silver lining for you. We're going to give you a Centre digital and equipment pack.
Oh, thanks. That's so nice.
No worries at all. Centre by Chris Hemsworth offers healthy habit tips. Download the Centre app to start your free trial. Thanks, Emily.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Anonymous in Barizzi, what was the lie?
So my husband at the time would tell me that he was severely depressed and that he needed to clear his head, so he'd go for really late night drives and wouldn't be home for hours on end. Couldn't contact him, wouldn't pick up the phone. I believed that he was depressed at the time, and I found out later on he was actually going to my best friend's house to sleep with her.
That's so dog. So that's a real, low thing to hide behind as well.
How did you find all this out?
Well, eventually he told me he was leaving, and the marriage was already breaking down, but, that was no excuse. But, yeah, he came home and he said he was leaving, and he pretty much went from my house to her house and both stayed.
What, are they still together?
They are. Yeah, it was about 4 years ago. Yeah, so apparently it had been. I found out it had been going on for at least a year. Because consequently, she was married to my cousin. So turns out because he would go away on business trips. So that's when, my husband would disappear. And, yeah, apparently his overtime he would do would also be at her house instead of at home with me and his son. So,
gosh, the web.
Some people. I just really feel for you and your cousin. Let's not forget about your cousin because he was done in as well.
Men are pigs.
Men are pigs. Boy said it.
Men are absolute pigs, aren't they?
Yes.
Well, Anon in Brizzy, thank you very much for sharing.
America are fudging the numbers to make themselves look better at the games. And we're against fudging on this show.
Yeah.
Always had a no fudging policy. So everyone counts gold medals. They count their gold medals. Whoever has the most gold medals leads the tally. That's how the whole world does it. That's how Australia recognises it. If you look at that, Japan are top. And America would be 8th. But then in America, like if you look at the New York Times and like all of their publications, they're like, we're winning, guys. We're number 1. America, we've done it again. Because they count bronze, silver, gold. They just throw it all in the same boat. They're just like, yeah, we've just got more medals.
Oh, so they go off total medals.
Yeah, and I get that, but it's like that's not how it works. Like we've all got a system, and they just like spelling colour without the U. They're doing their own thing, and then they think they're the best.
Liam, you seem fired up about
I am
this.
fired up. No, I am fired up, Ben, because they believe their own lies. They believe their own bullshit.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can sleep tonight unless I tell an American that. So I would like to call. We've got an international number here, and I would like to call an American, and they're probably just going about their day, but just to let them know that you're actually 8th. Okay.
All right. Well, this is a random American number punched in. God. Let's see if we get an answer.
Hey, this is Drew.
Well, howdy there, Drew. My name's Liam. I'm calling from a radio station in Australia. Just wondering, have you been keeping up to date with the Olympics?
Of course, every proud American would keep up with the Olympics. We're the best at it.
Do you know who is leading the tally?
Yeah, leading the tally with the most medals would be the US of A, baby.
Wrong, Drew. Your media is telling you that you're leading the medal tally, but you're counting it wrong. Yeah, you got 26 medals, but you're counting all the bronze and silver. The whole rest of the world just goes by how many gold you've got. Japan's in the lead with 7. Australia's just behind it with 6. You guys are sitting 8th.
Let's take your medals, put them in a box. Let's take my medals, put them in a box. How many medals you got?
Yeah, but bronze is less value than gold. Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah. So let's tell all the Australian bronze gold medalists that they just weren't good enough. Only the gold medalists matter. By the way, there will be some running events coming up in a little bit, and guess who's the leader for the running events in the Olympics?
Well, what I will say is this. If I had to go around to every single Australian bronze medalist, I'd only have to say it doesn't mean much to one person. If I was doing that in America, I'd have to say it to 11 people. But if I was to congratulate gold medalists in Australia, I'd have to go to 6 people, and in America, only 4.
But you know what? You're not number 1 in gold medals. Japan is.
Yeah, Drew, I get that. But the point is, Japan are number 1. You guys are 8th. But by your metric, you're 1st. And the rest of the world is laughing at you.
Well, at the end of the Olympics, we'll see who has the most gold medals, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be the good old red, white, and blue, baby, America.
Drew, I must admit, I like your style. You've got a lot of charisma, but I feel like Australia's still going to get it done. Kyle Chalmers is going to win a gold medal tomorrow morning against you guys in the pool. But, what we'll do is we'll cold call you at the end of the Olympics, and if America has more gold medals than Australia, I will eat my hat.
Yeah, you can eat your hat. You can eat my cowboy hat and my trucker hat, my mom's hat, and all the hats. Because we're going to be absolutely laden full of gold, silver, bronze, all the medals. Because the USA is the best of all the sports.
Yeah, well,
USA.
All right.
USA,
no need for that.
USA. USA.
All right, Drew, well, you can eat my Akubra with corks on it. Ben, hang up on him.
I don't think that went how you thought it would.
He owned you.
13 24 10. Do you have a wacky roommate? Someone who doesn't really match your vibe. Obviously, the cost of living crisis, it's hitting us all. But how's this story? A 27-year-old woman in Sydney is living with a 100-year-old woman.
What?
Her grandma?
No. She's just like somewhere cheap to rent. It's kind of cute, I suppose, because maybe like really old people sort of like a little bit lonely sometimes. Younger people trying to find rent. So maybe this is, the way forward.
Could be a bit of a solution to the rental crisis.
It could be.
All elderly, lonely people sublet their rooms to young people.
And it'd be hard for parties and stuff, or if you're coming home, you're like, what's for dinner tonight, Marjorie? Taco Tuesday? No, I was thinking gruel and blood thinners. Or like, you want to watch the new cool show on Netflix and they're listening to like wartime radio plays.
I once didn't have a wacky roommate. They didn't move in, but they applied to move into the home. And on their application, they seemed pretty good. Got to the bottom of it and they said, is it okay if I bring my 100 cacti? They had 100 cactus.
No.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
100.
When I first moved to Sydney when I was like 20 from Adelaide, I lived with a guy, nice guy, but he was, it's sad, but he was an alcoholic. And he was always like very drunk. And sometimes he would come down and I was first time living out of home, so I would like make my dinner and he would ask if he could have some of my dinner. And like one time I remember I was like, yes, and I was kind of scared. And then he used his hands to take the chicken off my plate and he started like eating it like Gollum. And I was like,
That's awful.
Yeah, I know. But I'm like, I know it's awful. I had to live with this guy. I know he had issues, but I didn't want to be living with him. Do you know what I mean?
James in Brisbane, tell us about your wacky roommate.
So this was, a roommate we had. She we'd be watching TV and she'd mute the TV in the ads and not say anything. And so we just didn't know what to do with her. And then she'd put Glad wrap in the freezer.
Why?
Why?
Because she thought it kept it fresh.
Very weird.
But because I find that thawed out Glad wrap works just as well.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with my Glad wrap, that's for sure. But
Also,
yeah,
if it's in the freezer, wouldn't it go like hard and then you
You'd
can't
think
really
so.
Glad wrap anything?
Yeah, true. 13 24 10. Did you have a wacky roommate?
I don't think we need the sound
I
effects.
hate that.
Yeah,
I
but
don't think we need
it
that.
gets the wacky thing across. Did you have a wacky roommate? Just someone like you're just like, what the hell? Like they just didn't fit in to the situation. Because sometimes you're living with like 3 or 4 people, and there might just be someone you're like, what was that?
Our number is 13 24 10. If you have a story to share, we've also got a prize to give you.
Chrissy in Melbourne, you had a pretty wacky one, did you?
I did. Quite a few years ago now, but yes. I had a friend, it was in the last year of school, and I decided to move out, and one of my mates had a good friend and said, to move in with her friend. And so she was a little bit weird around whenever I'd have my little sister come over, who was 8 at the time, 7 or 8. And one time when she went out, my little sister decided to go in her room and read her diary, which is horrible.
Yeah.
But in her diary, she had wrote all this stuff about my little sister, about how good she thinks she is and how jealous she was of her and things, which was really strange. And after that, when I was going to a few parties with friends and stuff, I had mates coming up to me and saying that back when it was the white pages, so it shows my age, but she'd been looking up their names after she'd meet them, finding out their last name and look up their numbers, and she was calling them to try and hang out with her
weird.
as well.
Yeah, it's
a
really
bit weird.
Really
That's
weird.
super weird. Yeah.
Especially with the 8-year-old sister there. Ooh. Oh, okay. Emily in Brisbane, wacky roommate.
Hi, guys. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to cook my dinner while he was watching Home and Away.
And Home and Away is on prime dinner cooking time, really. That's when you want to be eating.
I know, right? But he also sat, he had no furniture, and if it was pouring rain outside, I still had to use my barbecue outside to cook the sausages or anything I wanted.
So
and
was
then,
it because of the sound, Emily?
I honestly have no idea. The guy scared the heck out of me. And then he had no furniture. So when I moved in, I put all my furniture in the house. So he'd sit in the one spot on the couch. And I accidentally did the wrong thing by asking him to move positions.
Yeah.
And, but that wasn't the only bad thing that he would do. Most mornings I would find the downstairs department hair all over the toilet that he used to shave.
Right.
And so before I got to use the bathroom, I had to get rid of all the hair.
Had to sort of
off
blow the
toilet
pubes
seat.
away.
Yeah, not good.
gosh.
So he didn't have any furniture, but he did bring a lot of pubes to the party, by the sounds. So at least he was bringing something. All right, last one. Susie in Melbourne, wacky roommate.
I had this Italian older lady that I was told, why don't you move in with her, because I had nowhere to go. Anyway, so I'd creep into my room every time I come home after work and try to do a dodgy on her because she was a bit wacky. Anyway, I'd feel this resistance against my bedroom door because she wanted to sit and tell me about this repetitive story. It was a tragedy, Susie. My husband left me. And I'd have to hear this whole story about how her husband left her, I reckon, for 30 days and 30 nights. And it was one too many nights too long. And I know she was depressed, but I'd want to come home and hide in my bedroom. But all I'd feel was this resistance against the door when I went to shut it, and she'd want to sit on the side of the bed. Anyway, one night I had to flee the house forever and call it quits. Because I was going out to a nightclub looking all sexy and hot, and she was at the front door saying goodnight.
Yeah.
And she goes, "About the suicide tonight, you look extravaganza." And she went to leap in the air. I reckon it was like 5 meters away. And she landed. She tried to kiss me on my lips. It happened so fast. I felt like I was being defiled, and I thought, that's it. I've got to call this quits.
That's wild, Susie.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Susie. It sounds like you had one wacky roommate on your hands there.
I think a lot of people here, what's happened is people lived with people who either just didn't have friends
or were dangerous,
or were sad.
I think one was a predator, unfortunately, and the sound of but
she's just depressed and lonely.
Yeah. The resistance on the door was really visceral, wasn't it? You could really feel. It was good storytelling, actually.
13, 24, 10. Did your parents punish you in a creative way?
Yeah, this comes about because we had an interesting call from Rhiannon in Melbourne last night.
I snuck out when I was 16, and then for the next week I had to eat outside because Dad said if I like the outdoors so much, I should eat out there.
We have got some Centre digital and equipment packs to give away to our favourite callers. So 13, 24, 10. Centre by Chris Hemsworth offers healthy habit tips. Download the Centre app to start your free trial.
And we've got a call already from Taylor in Brisbane on 13, 24, 10. Did your parents punish you in a creative way?
They did, yeah. So when I was naughty, my parents would stick me fully clothed into the freezing cold shower, and I would have to stand there for as long as the age that I was. So if I was 6 years old, I'd have to stay in there for 6 minutes.
Whoa!
Dude. I mean, that sounds like, when they're trying to train Navy SEALs and they get them all on the cold beach there, all just sort of sitting there.
Some people as well that can't get their hands on ice baths do cold showers to try and increase productivity. So maybe
you
your
were
parents...
you were doing the Wim Hof sort of breathing method before.
Yeah.
Did you find it was like having a few coffees?
It was pretty cold. It definitely woke me up.
Yeah, no,
sure.
would,
Yeah,
sure.
You would have been firing on all cylinders, I'd imagine.
13, 24, 10. Taylor, thank you very much. Give us a buzz. Did your parents punish you in a creative way?
Yeah, grounding, boring. We've heard it all before. Go to your room. Maybe it was something a bit more creative than that. Laura in Sydney, how did they punish you?
Well, my mother was the epitome of creative punishments, and when I was 4 years old, I had some sticky fingers and stole something of my sister's and tried to hide it and then blame it on my 2-year-old brother.
Mm-hmm.
And to punish me, I got put in prison for a day. All my belongings got removed from my room. My mum and dad followed me everywhere as my prison guards, and I wasn't left alone at any point. And then just to really rub salt in the wound, Mum decided to cook my favourite dinner at the time for everybody else to eat that night whilst I had toast and water.
Wow.
Some sloppy joes, some prison slop.
Yeah.
Victoria, what about you? Creative punishment?
Yeah, hi. Well, yeah, it was my mum, and what she did, she actually caught me smoking when I was about 15. So she made me smoke a whole packet of Camel cigarettes.
Oh, my God.
Like properly, like inhaling, exhaling, like proper smoking, not just like bum sucking like you used to when you were 15.
Yeah.
And and then also 2 cigars as well.
What?
And then, and then everyone went out to dinner, and I had to come, and I was as sick as a dog.
So, Vic.
And now you've got a crippling addiction.
No, that either went one of 2 ways. Either you're a pack-a-day smoker or you never touched a cigarette again. Please tell me it's the second one.
I haven't touched a cigarette again.
Yeah. Well, and obviously that's really bad. And we can't say that we recommend that at all. But I can see the thought process there. She's put you off for life just for one really bad day on the gaspers.
Yeah, but if you love your child, you don't do that.
Especially being breathe it in more.
And do a cigar.
Mom, no. Oh, God. Some big Cubans. Yeah, she's just worked her way through a whole pack of Camels, and then she's like, oh, no, we're not done yet. You seen Arnold Schwarzenegger before? Yeah, you're about to smoke one of them.
And then she brought the shisha box.
Yeah. Kayla in Sydney, tell us about your parents' creative punishment.
Hi. Well, night, and it was a bit late, because I was 3 minutes past my curfew. My dad made me stand in dog poo the next day after picking it all up.
That one feels cruel.
So, hang on, you got home late. You were 3 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
So then Dad made you pick up all the dog poo in the backyard and you had to step in it.
Yeah.
And just stand there in it or walk around?
He just made me stand in there, and he's
Was
like,
it-
"Oh, that's what you're gonna get for coming home late."
Right. So there was no reasoning or secret message in the punishment. It was just step in dog poo.
Yeah, because sometimes I do come home a bit late, and he's like, "Yeah, this time, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to do it."
You're going to step in the poo again. And then I'm sure that would play on your mind as well, because you'd be going to the shops the next day with your friends and you'd be like, ooh, smells like dog poo in here. Ooh. Did you watch that off, Kayla? Poo, you stink.
For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.